Hey, what's cracking? How you doing today? Hope this video finds you sitting pretty. First, I want to thank you for clicking on the video. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If it's the first time you have ever watched, my name's Ricky Dye. I went to prison when I was 15 years old, and I was there for over 20 years. I got out when I was 35, almost 36. And I've been making these videos hoping to save someone else from making the mistake I made, from hurting all the people that I hurt. And if you're down with that, if you hit subscribe, check out the video. Appreciate it if you share it, hit like, and you may enjoy the videos more if you go back and start at the beginning, because I've done them all chronologically from the beginning, the way I got in trouble, going to juvenile, certified onto adults. So before I go any further, shout out to the writers and the dyers. Thank you guys. Always really appreciate you guys. Tomorrow's my surgery. I won't be going deep into that, but tomorrow that'll be. So if you see me missing in action for a few days, that's what's up. I'm just healing up. Everything will be fine. I do have one video cocked and locked, loaded back for next week. I'll drop it on next Tuesday. So YouTube doesn't forget that I do exist, and we'll share a few of my videos. Today I wanted to give you a little story. I did a interview 3 days ago with a guy who does videos. He went to prison in California, and he had a 16-year sentence and a life sentence, and he did 24 years on it. And he makes YouTube videos, and he has 61.5K subscribers. So he wanted to interview me to try to help me get some traction, maybe help me get some more subscribers. So his channel is 16 the life, DA, and then life. I'll have a link to his channel in my description if you want to check it out. The interview that he did with me should probably drop tomorrow or the next day. And there's a part 1 and a part 2. So if you want to check that out. In that video, in that interview, I talked about a riot that I was in, that happened while I was in prison, that I was around. And so I want to give you a more in-depth story about that today. I want to tell you about this riot between the Indians and the blacks. And two people were killed and 13 more injured. You can Google it. Oklahoma State Reformatory, 2008, 2 killed, 13 injured. And you can look that up, Google that, and it'll come right up. So what happened is, there was a black guy, and he was a Crip, and he had a job cleaning the top run. And at the time, the day rooms were locked down unless you were orderly out working. During the day when this happened, he was out cleaning the top run, sweeping and mopping it, and there's a window upstairs with bars on it. And he walked by and he spit out that window. But what he didn't know is that the head Indian on the yard, the war chief for the Indian Brotherhood, highest ranking Indian on the yard, is sitting out there with one of his friends, because they work out on the yard. They're out there picking up trash, doing stuff like that. And they're sitting just below this window. So when he spit, he accidentally spit on top Indian. And so, of course, he was angry about it, claimed that the guy did it on purpose, even though the guy apologized and said he didn't. The black dude was a Crip, but he's a little younger guy. The war chief was in his probably early 40s, late 30s. And he wanted to fight this guy and figured he would strum this little guy. So they get out there when we have to chow. You have a few minutes before they lock the yard back down. You only get an hour out for recreation a day. Unless you work out on the yard, then you can get out to work on the yard and maybe get guards to let you in other day rooms. There's 4 day rooms on each unit. It was on Delta unit at Granite, and it is fenced in with a chain link fence, razor wire around the top. And to keep people from being able to raise that fence up the way we used to and crawl under it and get to other units, they've poured a concrete slab around it. So this chain link fence sits in a concrete slab on the bottom, razor wire around the top, and this goes around 2 buildings. Each building has 2 day rooms. And you can't get out of that unit to get to other units. Okay, but you can see what's going on in the unit over there through the fences, because they're on a unit that looks just like yours. 4 units on the yard, A, B, C, and D. So when Delta's out on their little time on yard, or wherever one's going to chow for a few minutes, you can go stand out on a little yard. There's maybe between 6 and 10 foot between the building and the fence. You stand in that little area, it's called your yard. And when you see a fight going down over there, and if something's going on, then a lot of times it'll pop off over here. And that's exactly what happened in this deal. But what happened is, the Indians the war chief wanted to fight this guy who spit on him. So while we're having yard for a few minutes after dinner, they get out there in a big circle, the blacks and the Indians, and the war chief and this guy fight. And no one knocked the other one down. There wasn't a definitive winner, but the black guy really put hands on this guy, this Indian, and he got the best of it. And so he wasn't about to settle for that. So he wanted to kill this guy. And of course, when he wanted to kill him, all the Crips on the unit are going to back this guy. And there's about an equal number of Indians and Crips. The blacks aren't, their Bloods aren't helping the Crips in this situation. Neither are the Muslims. So the whites are staying out of it for the most part. So are the Mexicans. It's the Indians and the Crips. And so he wants to kill him. But of course, they're standing up. Hey, you're not going to let that happen. So everybody from each group, like the head of the UABs and the head of the Indians and the Crips and Bloods, everybody comes together. Look, man, we know this is going to go down. We know y'all thought y'all was going to handle business, but let's wait till after this weekend, after Saturday and Sunday when they have visits. So at least after visits, we can sneak our drugs in this weekend. At least when we're locked down, we'll be able to lock down with some drugs. So that's how powerful drugs are in prison yard. They're planning on killing each other, but we're going to hold off a few days so we can get our drugs first. So Saturday and Sunday come, and people go to visit, and the drugs come in. And Monday, everybody's expecting this to go down. So what happens is, over on the unit, the guy lived in D3, I believe it was. I can't remember for positive, but I believe that the black guy that accidentally spit on him lived on D3. And him and his cell partner, both Crips, and they were in it together. They're both riding together. And there's a couple Indians in that day room, but there weren't any other Crips or Indians in that day room. So I'm assuming that those black guys were together, just a couple Indians in there, assuming they're all right now. So everybody's waiting until 9 in the morning when they let you out for rec. So everybody's grouping up. All the whites are together. All the Mexicans are over there together because even though it ain't between them, everybody's still in their own groups because you never know what's going to happen. So all the whites that ride are over here. It's what's about to go down, 9 o'clock in the morning. So, but right before we all got out at 9 o'clock, the Indians worked on the yard. So he got this guy, the war chief, him and a couple of his buddies worked out there cleaning the yard. So they get them to pop their door and let them out first. Go around there and get in that day room where them two black guys are at, the one that spit on him and his cell partner. And they don't have any help in there. It's just them two. So these 3 Indians get up in there. Now there's 5 Indians in there. And these 5 Indians run up in the cell on these 2, and they end up killing them. But what happens is, as soon as they pop the yard for the rest of them while this is going on, 9 o'clock comes, they open the doors. Now the blacks look off in here and they see this shit happening and they rush them. Okay? Now, everybody on C and A unit can see what's going on Delta unit. So the blacks over there started attacking people because they know that the Indians have just attacked the blacks. So now you've got it popping off on all 3 units. And so what happens is all of us white boys, we get over in one corner. And I had a lot of black friends there, but because it was so racial and people were sleeping with knives and getting killed, we just have to make the agreement that, hey, brother, I'm cool with you, you're cool with me. So if it pops off, I'm going to be with my kind, you're going to be with yours. We just won't get at each other. You feel me? So that's just what you have to do. So what happens is all the whites are over here together. Indians are over here together. There's blacks over here in a group. These big groups don't generally go at each other. They'll stay in their group. What happens is there's a few blacks, there's a couple whites that don't want to get involved, try to stay out of it, that don't get it. And those are the ones that get mashed because you got everybody out here. They're all riled up. They're all ready to go. And now they're not going to attack each other in these big groups usually. So what happens is all the people who don't want involved end up getting smashed out. Seen an old white guy get thrown down the stairs, stomped in his head. Never seen that guy again, mashed him badly. So that's what happened, man. So those 2 black guys ended up getting killed. And he didn't even mean to spit on that guy. I really don't believe he meant to do that. But that's how serious it is with the Indians at any time. They don't accept any losses. All the other races usually will beat you up real bad. And a lot of times when one guy's up in the cell and you go down and 2 or 3 people are getting on you and kick you in the head wrong, you might end up dying anyway or never coming out of it right again. And that's what happens. And everything in prison goes serious really fast. Out here, you get mad at people, you get in your little fights, or maybe you have words and you never see each other again. But when you're in prison, you're in a small area. And when something's said between me and you, we're going to see each other every day. There's nowhere to go. So that shit has to be handled, and only one person can usually stay. And that's just how it goes when you're in the zone. And so I hope that you will listen to some of my stories, realize that your life isn't really that bad. Do the things you have to do, stay out of trouble, make it by out here, keep your freedom, and don't end up in a place like that. And I hope that you'll check out the video where the interview went down. Hope you guys will check out 16 to Life's channel. The guys has some really awesome stories. He's a lot better at making the videos than I am. He's been explaining some things to me. So he's really a good guy. I reached out to quite a few guys to collaborate with me and try to help me get a foothold, and none of them did, but he did. And that's one of the reasons I'm not racist. And once again, as a black man to help me out. So may God bless, keep, and protect you and yours. Till the next one. See you next Tuesday. Peace out.